Goldfields has come out with some results. Let's cross to the JSE to Nastasia Arendse, who is going to be in conversation with them.
Thank you so much, Nompumelelo. Well, Goldfields more than doubled its first half headline earnings on the back of higher than average gold prices. But to talk to us about the details and the months that was, we are joined by Goldfields CEO Chris Griffith. Chris, thank you so much for your time. As you highlight in your statement, the past 4.5 months have been quite strange for you as the newly appointed CEO, having to interact with your core team virtually. But let's look back at the 6 months that was. How would you characterize your performance?
Nastasia, thanks very much. I think we had a solid 6 months. I think on pretty much all the production, safety, financial metrics. If you just look at our safety performance, notwithstanding we had one fatality, which was a real damper. But other than that, we were 30% better in this 6 months than the previous year. In terms of our safety performance, production was up. With the gold price that was up, the combination of those two meant that we were able to generate very good financial returns as a result of the cash flow that we made from operations, very solid cost control. We were able to pay for all of the capital in the group, plus the capital spend on the major project, as well as pay for the dividends of the final dividend last year. So I think very, very positive. Balance sheets in a great place. So I think on all the key metrics of the company, we had a very solid performance.
As someone who's been in the industry for a number of years, what is your assessment of South Africa's mining sector right now? Are there any key concerns for you?
I think the South African mining sector is in a really good space. If you look at the PGM industry, is doing very, very well and has been for a number of years, and is likely to continue doing well for a few years. Iron ore industry is doing well. Coal is picking up. So I think over most commodities, you're seeing the amount of revenue and therefore taxes that the mining industry is paying is the mining industry is in a very, very good space, and it's absolutely necessary for the fiscus that the mining industry is doing well at this particularly tough time. We have got some issues in South Africa still with some outstanding matters on the legislation. But other than that, I think South Africa is in a fairly solid space. We have got challenges, as we've recently seen, with the level of unemployment and the level of discontent in the country. But overall, I think South Africa's mining industry is doing relatively well. The gold industry is a much more mature industry, and we're unlikely to see much more growth out of gold. But certainly internationally, gold is doing fairly well. Overall, South Africa's mining is, I think, in a very good space.
Perhaps you can give us some color on the performance of your operations, Solaris Norte, if possible.
Yeah, this is a fantastic story. We have Solaris Norte, just for your viewers, is one of the best new gold mining assets that's coming to the market. To give you an illustration, our all-in cost for the company was just over $1,000. We will be producing at Solaris Norte under $500. Generally, our mines are generating about 200 to 250,000 ounces per mine. This mine will be generating between 400 and 450,000 ounces. So it really looks like a fantastic asset that we'll be bringing to the market. So how are we doing on that? We are absolutely in line with our plan, notwithstanding some of the very, very difficult COVID challenges we had in Chile, as well as some very bad weather events through the course of June. This mine is at 4,500 meters above sea level in the Andes. So when you have very bad weather, it's affecting the asset. Now, having said all of that, the mine remains, this project remains on track to deliver first gold in the first quarter of 2023.
And your operations in Australia and Ghana, I mean, what can you share on that front in terms of the production on that side of the stuff?
So we have very solid production in both Australia and Ghana. Those are our two main cash-generating regions. In one of the regions, we generated $160 million, and in Ghana, $180 million. So those two regions are very important for us. We were slightly up on year-on-year production in Ghana and slightly down in Australia, but Australia was only down because we had slightly less production shifts in this half compared to the comparative period. So actually all round very solid performance in Australia and likewise in Ghana.
In terms of your outlook, would your production and cost guidance, or rather does it still remain intact?
Yeah, absolutely. Our production guidance remains intact. And on the unit cost, it's been very badly affected by the strengthening of both the Australian dollar to the US dollar. We strengthened 17% in Australia, and in South Africa we had a strengthening of the rand against the dollar by 12%. So when you're converting our existing unit costs into US dollars with the strengthening of the rand, of course it makes it look like we're producing at a much higher sustaining cost. So if you'd excluded the impact of the strengthening exchange rates to get a feel for how our costs are doing, you can see that we were only 2% up as a group on unit costs, and I think that's a very, very solid performance for the company. So and notwithstanding those challenges of the strengthening currencies against the dollar, we have still maintained our guidance on costs, and we've maintained our guidance on capital. So all round, the promises that we made to the market at the beginning of the year remain very much on track for delivery this year.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for your time. That is Chris Griffith, who is the CEO of Gold Fields, talking to us about the company's numbers that were published earlier this morning. As I mentioned, they more than doubled their first half headline earnings on the back of a higher than average gold price, and talking to us about the update at the operations in Solaris Norte, saying that the ongoing impact of COVID-19 and, of course, severe weather has started to use up the time contingency that was built into the initial plan. However, we will definitely have Chris Griffith back on the show as the months unfold and we check in on the company for their full year numbers when they release their financials. That is it from me. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Nompumelelo Siziba with you right up until 3 p.m.